So today newspapers are carrying stories of a package of emergency measures that the government is going to roll out in order to deal with the ongoing corona crisis and to halt the spread of the virus. I think a starting point for us would be that most people would agree that drastic measures do need to be taken in order to halt this illness and to stop any more people getting sick. But we do have to look at the content of some of those measures, and there will be some cause for extreme concern among people about what it is the government are actually doing here. And just to name two measures, there's the ability given to the police to detain anyone who is suspected of being a carrier of the virus, but then also measures to restrict or ban any public gatherings for the duration of this crisis. And I think measures like that put in the hands of a Tory government will have many people worried about the future, particularly trade unionists, particularly campaigners, protesters, and so on. I think we've been given ample reason not to trust any Tory government with such wide-ranging and sweeping powers. I think people will also be concerned by the fact that there has been minimal oversight in Parliament, minimal democratic scrutiny of any of these measures. And I think what we have to call for in this situation is, yes, for serious measures to be taken, but for those measures to be taken under the democratic control of working class and young people. And actually we have seen, again over the past few days, the ability for workers, when properly organised, to be able to do that. So in the past couple of days, Socialist Alternative members have been on picket lines with bin workers in the borough of Bexley working for the outsourced company Serco. They've won a fantastic victory on sick pay and on the protection of their pay in terms if they do need to go off work as a result of the current crisis. But I think also what will be of concern to many workers, and we're hearing stories all over the place today from people we know and members of Socialist Alternative, of workers being laid off in the midst of this crisis, some of them who are on short-term contracts, some of them who haven't been in their particular workplace for a very long time, and they're being laid off with no redundancy payment, no safety net for them when they go off work. And I think a demand that working class people very loudly and clearly through their trade unions have to demand in the course of this crisis is that people do have to go home as a result of the crisis and not go to work. If people are laid off from jobs as a result of this crisis, that they're on full pay and that there's no attack on their terms and conditions, that big business should make sure the provisions for that exist, but also the government should make sure that the provisions for that exist. And we've got to say loud and clear that yes, there is a crisis, but we refuse as working class people to pay for that crisis.